Well, everyone, we have finally made it to our last park in this series of must-do things at the Disney World parks. We talked about Disney Springs, all of the Disney parks, except for, you guessed it, Epcot. Tonight, we're talking all about must-do things that you should do at Epcot. And Epcot is slowly becoming one of my favorite Disney parks to visit when at Disney World because of the diverse offerings and things that it has, which we'll get into in the live stream here tonight. But of course, whenever you're visiting, there are definitely some things that I recommend checking out and that you don't want to miss whenever you're at the park. So as usual, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're here on the live stream, I appreciate it. Let me know if you're in the chat. I'd love to say hello. And of course, if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the stream. If at all, at any point in the stream, you have any questions, or if you want to share some things that you like to do when visiting Epcot, definitely let me know, because I would like to know for myself, and I know it's helpful for other people that are watching here on the stream. So let's go ahead. We'll say hi to some people that are here in the chat. We've got the Deuce and Disney. Hey guys, thanks for being here. The Unqualified Goose. Every time I see your username, it makes me laugh. I love it. Hey Matt, thank you for being here. And Matt is saying, I got lost in Epcot when I was a kid. So I can definitely see that happening. It is a very, very big theme park. But I hope if you visit again sometime that you have a more positive experience. So thank you guys, everyone, for being here. I appreciate it. And we'll go ahead and hop right into the first thing that you should do when visiting Epcot. And that is, as we've been doing whenever we are doing the live streams here, we're going to talk about some must-do rides that you should do when at the park. So when at Epcot in particular, there are 3 very popular attractions that you can find at Epcot. And these most popular attractions are Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, the new Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride, and Frozen Ever After. In order, I would say that usually Frozen Ever After has the longest wait time. Don't be surprised if it's over an hour long. And Cosmic Rewind actually has a virtual line that you have to join now, so that's a little bit of an exception when it comes to the more popular attractions here. And then Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, it does have a long wait time at times, but sometimes it is pretty decent, not as long as the other popular ones, but ultimately, I highly recommend checking out at least one of these rides. Definitely Cosmic Rewind if you are visiting Epcot anytime soon. That is not only the newest ride at Epcot, but also the newest ride at Disney World in general. So I definitely recommend check out how to join the virtual queue so that way you don't miss getting on that experience, because if you don't have a spot in the virtual line, you can't ride. So definitely check that out. And those are 3 rides that I absolutely love doing. They tend to have long wait times, so definitely budget some time for that. Those are 3 great ones to do whenever you may be rope dropping the park. And I had somebody ask before, what does rope drop mean? And essentially that is when the park officially opens. That's when you get there first thing. And so I definitely recommend checking out some of these rides first thing in the morning whenever you get to the parks. So you'll be there this Friday. That's awesome. So this is perfect for you. I hope you can take away some of these must-do things when you're visiting Epcot, and I hope you have a great time. You'll have to let me know how your trip goes. And then let's see here. Virtual currently, but probably not much longer. Yeah, that is a very good point too. So I guess currently at the time of this live stream, they are doing the virtual queue system for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. We've seen that they have taken it away from some of the other rides before. The Rise of the Resistance ride at Hollywood Studios and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure used to have a virtual queue, but they are gone. So we'll see whenever that they decide to do away with that. But ultimately right now, if you're visiting, definitely check and see if you can get a spot in the virtual line. I have a video on my channel that helps walk you through how to do that, so that way you don't miss out on it. So definitely recommend doing that. And hey, we got another one, another person visiting Epcot. So this is very timely and very perfect for you guys. So I hope that this is helpful for you. And if you have any questions about the park at all or things that you want to see and do, definitely let me know. So we'll go ahead and get into the second thing here. We talked about the must-do popular rides, but let's talk about some must-do rides in general that are at Epcot that usually have pretty standard wait times. These are some of my favorite rides that I like to do whenever at Epcot. I absolutely love Soarin'. That is a very fun ride that you can do at Epcot. Test Track is also tends to be one of the more popular rides at Epcot. It has a long wait time at times too, but one tip for you is if you are comfortable splitting up from your party and not wanting to wait in the long standby line, definitely check out the single riders line. I have done this in the past, and there virtually is never a wait whenever it comes to doing that. So if you're wanting to kind of hack the wait time system and not have to wait so long in that ride, definitely check out the single riders line because that is a great thing to do. And then also Spaceship Earth is another one of my favorite rides. I absolutely love Spaceship Earth. I don't know what it is about it, but I really enjoy it. So those are 3 must-do rides that I personally like doing at Epcot. And there's also some other rides that tend to not have very long wait times that are great to do in the middle of the day whenever some of the more popular attractions are very long. And also, if you want to escape the sun, there are great indoor rides that you can definitely do that. So let's see here. We'll be at Epcot in 46 days. Awesome. Very excited for you guys to come back. And yes, test track with the single riders line, that is definitely something that I usually visit by myself, but would use in general if I was visiting with friends or family, because it just really cuts down on the time. I think the one time that I did it, the standby wait was 70 minutes, and I popped in the single riders line, and I was in and out, or I was in and on the ride in 2 minutes, and then however long the actual wait or actual ride time was. So it definitely is a good hack to do if you are comfortable doing that. But just know that you will be split up from your party. I know some people get confused and they go in that line, or maybe they don't know that it is a single rider's line, and they get to the actual point where you get on the ride and they won't let you ride altogether. So just keep that in mind whenever you are going and trying to do the single rider's line. So let me look here. Spaceship Earth, green or orange? My favorite is orange. Okay, so you are actually thinking of Mission Space. So Spaceship Earth and Mission Space, I totally get it. I used to get them mixed up as well whenever I first started going to the parks. But Mission Space is the simulator type ride, and Spaceship Earth is like a continuously moving ride in the big like Epcot ball. But I personally, I usually only like the green version of Mission Space. I don't usually get very motion sick, but the orange version was a little bit too intense for me whenever I did it the first time. So I typically prefer the green version, but I have done the orange version before. But I am very impressed that you like the orange version, because I know sometimes it can be a little bit intense for some people. So let's see here. We got some other chats here. I love the chats. So along the lines. But others, yes, are walk-ons. Yeah, so that's a very good point. And that gets to like what I was mentioning with the in the middle of the day, whenever like Frozen or Test Track or Remy's has a really long line, there's the Three Caballeros ride, the Finding Nemo ride. Those are usually walk-on rides. Living with the Land, they're all great rides. I love them personally, but they are usually walk-ons. So those are a great thing to take advantage of in the middle of the day, and you can escape the heat. So that's one thing that I absolutely love about it. So let's see here. Lightning Lane. What should I do while I wait? Yeah, okay, so this is perfect too. So if you are doing the Genie Plus, or you have that whenever you're visiting Epcot and you're looking to kind of have some filler attractions in the meantime, highly, highly recommend checking out the Three Caballeros, the Finding Nemo ride, and the Living with the Land. Those are usually some walk-on rides, like we talked about before. Or you can, of course, do some shopping. Let's see, we'll get into a little bit more about the World Showcase and things that you can do, but those are some great ways to kind of fill in some time whenever you are waiting to get your Lightning Lane to be called. So that's a very good question. Yeah, and just, yeah, work on your schedule. Yeah, I have not personally used the Genie Plus system yet, but I know that if I were to do it, I would definitely try to stack my rides as best as possible to kind of make my times and use my day as efficiently as possible. So yeah, definitely agree with that. Okay, let's scroll through here. And yes, Omni Mover, thank you. I was trying to think of it off the top of my head, but yes, Spaceship Earth is the Omni Mover ride. And yeah, totally, I always got them mixed up whenever I started going, for sure, but I knew exactly what you were talking about. And in years, Ride both colors. There you go. That's perfect. I usually tend to stay away from the orange version. I can do it, but especially in the heat of the day during the summertime, I usually stay away just because it kind of makes my head spin. So I don't want to jeopardize my day whenever going to the parks, but I can do the green version. So, and okay, yeah. So thank you for the question for that. And then let's see, Spaceship Earth has a long line early in the day. Yeah, usually because that's where people kind of run to first things. That's the first ride whenever you get right into Epcot. And then yes, during meals and then end of the day, walk on. Definitely agree with that. Definitely have experienced that as well. So I usually like to rope drop the more popular rides, get them out of the way, and then do some of the other attractions during the day. So, yep, you got that right. So, yeah, that's perfect. Love the chit chat, guys. Thank you so much for the questions and for the comments and all that. Those are all really great inputs, and I hope that it helped other viewers here that are watching as well regarding rides. So we'll get into the third thing. We're going to get into some of the entertainment stuff here. And the third thing that I recommend when going to Epcot is definitely meet and greeting with some characters. So the one thing that I really like about Epcot is that they do a really good job of having a lot of characters around the park. So there's some at the entrance of the park, around the World Showcase. There's some buildings that you can go in and do some meet and greets. There are characters everywhere. And so if you are looking for a particular character or wondering what characters are at Epcot, you can go on the My Disney Experience app. When you go to check wait times, there's actually a drop-down list, and you can change it to characters. I have a video here on my channel as well that I can walk you through as well. But when you do that, it pops up with the Epcot map, and it shows you all of the different points around the park where different characters are located, which I absolutely love. I think that is so helpful because honestly, there are some times that you can walk right past characters and not even know that they are there. We'll talk about some places that they are located at, but I highly recommend doing some character meet and greets. There are so many at Epcot. And yes, Deuce, I'm glad that you are bringing this up. So there is a spot. I don't have the Visa card personally, but there is a private meet and greet that you can do at Epcot. And some of the, I think what I had read was the character that you go to meet, you don't actually know who they are until you get to the room and go and meet them. I think it changes out routinely is what I saw, I think, on social media or something like that. So that is a bonus. If you have the Visa card, definitely take advantage of that. So it is next to, is it the Imagination Pavilion? Because I haven't been there personally. So that is a really good thing to know about. But there's also lots of characters around the World Showcase at various points. There's a lot of Disney princesses at Epcot. You can find Goofy and Pluto. Mickey and Minnie are there. Mickey is in the Disney and Pixar short films building. So you actually can miss him if you don't actually go to check out that attraction, but he is right in the front there. And he used to not have a long line, but I think more people are catching on to it. And he's definitely gotten a longer line since I have started to go and do meet and greets with him. But another place that you can go is inside the Imagination Pavilion. After you get off of the Figment ride, you can meet Joy from Inside Out and Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. So those are so many characters that you can meet whenever you're there. I absolutely love doing character meet and greets. And yes, they are next to the, yes, where the fountains are. So definitely go and check those out. Look on the app if you need to, or ask cast members. I'm sure that they're happy to help. But favorite character to meet, I have met Stitch before. I love Stitch. I'm trying to think of my favorite. I think my favorite are probably the princesses. I love meeting, like, Snow White is at Epcot. I love meeting her. And just Mickey and Minnie in general are just really great ones I like to just have as go-to meet and greets. I have not met Olaf yet. He's at Hollywood Studios. That is one that I really would like to meet. So those are a little bit of some of my favorite characters that I like to meet whenever at Disney World. So yeah, thank you for that question. But truly, I need to do more meet and greets when going to the park. Sometimes I tend to skip by them because now that meet and greets are back and you can do character hugs and everything, the lines have been pretty long for them. So I really just need to do them more often now. But yeah, I love the question. Thank you. Hey there, how are you guys doing, Griswold family vacay? Thanks for being here. Oh, and Doofs, now that you say that, Baymax, I hope they bring him back soon because I really want to bring my bag and show him my bag and see what his reaction is to it. So 100%, if I were to be able to meet Baymax, he would 100% be my favorite. And so let me see. You did the meet and greet at Magic Kingdom with Mickey and Minnie today. That's awesome. That's so perfect. I heard that they brought them both back together. So that is, they're now actually able to meet together now. So that's perfect. I'm glad you were able to do that. Yeah, I have not done Olaf yet. I know that I've heard a lot of people that really enjoy meeting him. I have not been able to because I think they just recently brought him back maybe. So next time I go to Hollywood Studios, I definitely need to do that. So now that you say that, Doofs, too, I maybe will change my answer because I tend to be a little bit awkward if I'll be honest here, I tend to be a little bit awkward when it comes to meeting characters. I don't always know like what to say or how to interact with them. So at times, yes, I do like the characters that have like the masks on or the covered faces because then I feel a little bit less awkward. But then I think about the person that's inside of the character and I think about them wondering, I don't know, maybe judging me or something, but probably not. So yeah, sometimes I get a little bit awkward when it comes to character meet and greets. So that's why I like meeting them from a distance, I guess. But so I can actually relate to that. Hey there, Jelly Moon, thanks for being here. Nathan, thanks for hopping in. I appreciate it. And used to have a short wait before I can see that for sure. And now it's long. So I'll have to check that out next time I go to Hollywood Studios. So we'll see. That is a little bit about the character meet and greets there. But ultimately, all this to say, guys, if you enjoy meeting characters or want to meet characters at Epcot, there are so many that you can check out there. Definitely recommend going on the My Disney Experience app, figure out where they are located, and do some character meet and greets. So the fourth thing that we'll talk about here is probably one of the most popular things to do whenever you're at Epcot, and that is to visit during a festival. So there are numerous festivals that happen at Epcot. It seems like there's always a festival happening at this point with how the dates line up. We're currently in the Flower and Garden Festival. That is quickly going to end, and we are going to hop right into the Food and Wine Festival. But I absolutely love visiting during the festivals because the park is kind of seen in a different way. You can see different booths all around the world showcase. There are different foods that you can try, different entertainment options. The Flower and Garden Festival and the Festival of the Holidays are two of my absolute favorite festivals at Epcot. The only other one we haven't talked about yet is the Festival of the Arts. But when it comes to the Flower and Garden Festival, I absolutely love all of the topiaries that are around the parks. And then during the Festival of the Holidays, the thing that I really like is that around the World Showcase, they bring all of the different Santas from the different countries around the World Showcase, and they do kind of a storytelling where they talk about the holiday or like Christmas and what happens during the holidays in their respective countries. So that is something that I recently got to experience last Christmas because I had never been there during that festival before, but it was so neat to see the different characters and the different Santas that come out, and it's just a really neat thing to check out. So I highly recommend visiting during a festival. Do some research before you get to the park to see what kind of offerings there are. I think we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but there are festival passports that you can pick up at the front of the park where all of the maps are, and it shows all of the different entertainments, the food offerings that you can find there. So there's so much to do at these festivals. That's just like a whole other thing that you can do when at the park besides rides and shopping and all of that fun stuff. So definitely recommend visiting during festivals whenever at Epcot. Yes, so I do really enjoy shows that are at Epcot. I know we'll talk about later on here their nighttime fireworks show that they have. And I'm trying to think of any sit-down shows that they have off the top of my head. But the thing that I like about shows, especially at some of the parks during the summertime here, is it really gets you out of the heat. It can kind of help you to regroup a little bit, give you a chance to sit down because you do a ton of walking at the parks. So I personally really enjoy shows. My recommendation when it comes to shows when going to the parks is definitely see what times they are happening, so that way you don't miss them and you can kind of plan around the show that's happening. But yes, I absolutely love shows, and I'm gonna have to try to think Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys can think of any shows off the top of your heads. But I am kind of having a mind blank right now of shows that happen. I know they have a lot of entertainment around the World Showcase that you can check out. But yes, I definitely recommend shows. There is a Beauty and the Beast show, now that I think about it, in France that I recently did. That is a great AC break. And it's a sing-along, kind of like the Frozen sing-along at Hollywood Studios. So that's a fun thing to check out if you're looking for just like a little break thing to do. Yeah, Festival of the Holidays, absolutely love it. They have the trees around. It's just kind of a different like atmosphere. I love Christmas time at the parks anyway. But the Festival of the Arts has the most to do. Yes, I do really like going around and seeing all of the different art booths that are around for the Festival of the Arts. So each of the festivals just offer so many different things, and they're so different in their own ways. There's definitely something new that you can check out each time that you go. And I just love that it gives a different spin on Epcot each festival that happens at the park. So that's my favorite thing about Epcot and just the festivals in general. So, and passports are at every merch and food counter. That is a good thing to know. I think I knew that, but it definitely slipped my mind. But yes, you can find them, I guess, at the front of the park and then at the food counters, which is good to know. And it's nice because you can kind of go through and check off the different things that you're wanting to try, or if you're challenging yourself to eat as much as you can, or check off all of the offerings at each of the booths. You can definitely check it off so that way you can stay on track. So that's another neat thing to do. And yes, and they have scavenger hunts. Yes, thank you, Dupes. One thing that I really enjoy is around Easter, they have like an egg hunt around the park where they have different Disney character eggs that are hidden in all of the different pavilions, which are fun. During the festivals, or the Flower and Garden Festival that we're currently in right now, they have the Spike the Bee scavenger hunt where you can go around and try to find the spikes that are hidden all around. I think Remy is the kind of icon for the scavenger hunt for the Food and Wine Festival. So yes, definitely check out these scavengers if you want. And then, yes, thank you to Dupes. Lots of concert opportunities in the USA, UK, and Canada. Now that you're saying this, I definitely am. It's starting to ring a bell. Yeah, in the US, there's a huge pavilion there that has a lot of concerts and shows that tend to come throughout the day. And then also, yes, UK and Canada. So those are some shows that you can check out if you're looking for some concert type things. And then, let's see. Do you think it's a good idea to hop right into the Remy's Ratatouille ride when it opens? Yes, that is actually when I went this past summer. I think it was May, with my friend, and we were coming up with a game plan for how to do Epcot. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure was actually the first ride that we decided to do that day, which I'm trying to think. I think it was a half-hour wait total that we were able to get on it, doing it at Rope Drop. The other ride that is perfect to do is the Frozen Ever After ride. If anything, that is another great ride to do at Rope Drop. But I do think that Remy's is a good choice. Maybe even Frozen would be a better option because that line tends to move very slow and the wait time gets very, very long. The thing I like about the Remy's ride is that it has a lot more of an enjoyable queue that I think personally, and you're indoors a lot more. So if anything, I would maybe go instead and say that Frozen would be a good ride to do at Rope Drop instead. But definitely Remy's or Frozen are the rides that I would recommend. And then whenever you get the spot for Cosmic Rewind, definitely go and check that out if you're planning on doing that. So I hope that answered your question. But yeah, Deuce, yep, Remy's early, yes. Hey, Surfer Girl, thanks for being here. Love the Easter scavenger hunt, yes. You find the eggs. You get your, oh yeah, so whenever I did it, I did my own Megan Moves version where I just walked around and tried to find the eggs because you do have to pay for like the little card that they give you, and then you can turn it in and you get a prize. I didn't have a lot of time that day, so I did my own Megan Moose version where I just walked around and tried to find them. But yes, it's very neat. If you purchase the thing you find all of the different, whether it's the eggs or the different Remy's or the Spike the Bee, you can go and get a prize at the end. So yeah, I did like that they had the little miniature like Disney character eggs for the Easter scavenger hunt. Those were really neat. So maybe next year I'll have to try that. And if you have early entry, then yeah, if you have early entry, I would recommend maybe doing Frozen first and then hopping over to Remy's is maybe how I would do it as a game plan. But yeah, definitely take advantage of that early entry, people. That can be a really nice thing whenever it comes to trying to get big attractions out of the way. And yes, the prizes are so cute. Let's see. But you don't have to finish in one day. Take as many days as you want. Okay, I actually didn't think about that. But yeah, if you have multiple days at the parks, or if you're a pass holder and you want to do the scavenger hunt, I guess you can do it as many days as you want, which actually makes sense. You can just take the card, and then the next time you go, you can finish it. So that's a good point that you brought up there, because I didn't even think of it that way. So that's a good thing to think about if you're thinking of doing the scavenger hunts. So we kind of got a little bit into this, but we'll talk about the fifth thing here, which is to walk around the World Showcase. That is one of the biggest things at Epcot. Epcot is just a large park in general, but the World Showcase is very fun. It has multiple different countries featured all around the World Showcase. I think it's about a mile walk around the actual showcase. Maybe you can do it in about 20 minutes if you were walking it straight. But I absolutely love walking around the World Showcase. There are so many neat pavilions that are around the World Showcase. There's different entertainment options, shops, rides are in some of these pavilions. So there are so many things that you can do walking around this World Showcase. I absolutely love it. You can see kind of different scenic views. There is Harmonious in the center in the little lagoon type area. So I definitely recommend, of course, whenever you're there, you'll probably be walking around the World Showcase, but definitely just take advantage of it. It's not something you have to do all at once. You can definitely kind of mosey around throughout the day from ride to ride, or if you're going to eat around the World Showcase. So that's another fun thing during the festivals. If you are planning on eating, or a lot of people do the drinking around the world is a very popular thing. So definitely recommend ultimately walking around and kind of taking in some of the scenery when it comes to the World Showcase, which gets us into the sixth thing that I want to recommend here. And that is to explore at least one of the pavilions in detail. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. We got a chat here. Can I do half the World Showcase or just walk? Or the whole walk on one day? You can definitely do it all in one day. It's not something you have to do all at once. It's definitely something that you can do throughout the day that you are visiting the park. Like I said, I think it's about a mile walk around. You can do it in probably 20 minutes. And if you're trying to get from, say you were trying to get from Remy's Ratatouille Adventure to the Frozen Ever After ride, you would mainly be walking around majority of the World Showcase anyway. There's actually also a little kind of shuttle boat that takes you in between the World Showcase. So if you weren't wanting to walk around all of it, you can definitely kind of cut some time off, because it is a longer walk. But it's definitely something that you can do whenever you're at the parks and do in a whole day. Yes, and there are two types of people in this world: those who start in Canada and those who start in Mexico. So for those who maybe are watching and haven't been to Epcot before, the way the World Showcase works when you're walking into the park is there is Mexico as one of the starting pavilions, and then there is Canada as one of the starting pavilions. Personally, you guys will have to let me know in the comments what you guys like to do, but I always go to Mexico first for whatever reason. I really enjoy going to Mexico first. Maybe it's because I love the Three Caballeros ride. I'm not sure, but that is the type of person that I am. And we've got another Mexico person here. So yes, I definitely start in Mexico, and then just finish up in Canada. So, but yeah, we'll get into the sixth thing here now, which is to explore one of the pavilions in detail. As I mentioned, there are so many pavilions around the World Showcase. And the thing that I didn't know for the longest time is how detailed these pavilions truly are. So I really enjoy going and taking some time to explore some of the pavilions. If you are, I can't remember exactly how many pavilions are around the World Showcase, but if you're looking for some really good ones that I like to explore in detail, or that have a lot of offerings, I really recommend the Canada Pavilion, the Germany Pavilion, and the France Pavilion, which you'll already be in anyway if you're going to do the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure ride. But I just love all the detail that they have there. There's some rides, different shops, and some entertainment at times. So definitely recommend trying to explore one of them in detail. Another thing that I like, which we'll get into the seventh thing here, are some of the exhibits that they have in these pavilions. So they have some exhibits that kind of highlight different things about the culture that you can expect to see if you were to visit there, which is really neat. I think in the Japan Pavilion, they have a really neat sort of exhibit that you can go and check out that you wouldn't necessarily know about if you didn't take some time to go and explore in that pavilion in detail. So definitely check that out for sure. And Deuce, you start in Canada because you got to hit the maple popcorn. Oh, and eat it around the world. So that makes sense. I have never had the maple popcorn yet, but every time I pass the maple popcorn cart, I always think of you guys. So I definitely need to take my popcorn bucket and give that a try sometime. So yes, in different restaurants too. So if you are wanting to do a sit-down meal whenever you're at the park, this is a great thing to do if you're wanting to escape the heat or just get some time to sit down and rest with your family. There are a lot of restaurants that are really neat that you can take advantage of around the World Showcase. You may need to make some reservations ahead of time, which you can do on the My Disney Experience app, but definitely take that into consideration as something that you want to do at Epcot if you're wanting to sit down and experience some of the restaurants that they have. The one that I personally would like to do, I think, is the Hibachi. I can't remember the name of it, but the Hibachi restaurant that's in Japan, I think. That is one that I would really like to check out. And let's see. Oh, and your favorite showcase restaurant is Via Napoli in Italy. Yes, you're correct. Yeah, or correct. Sorry. Yes, I have heard really good things about Via Napoli, and I have never actually been to a restaurant at Epcot before. That's something that I definitely will have to do. But I've heard good things, so I'm glad you've been able to be there. And yes, there is a Morocco Museum. The thing that I like about Morocco is it's a really neatly decorated pavilion. It's very photogenic too. So if you're wanting to get some photos there, that is a great place to go for photos. And yes, there is the Viking Museum in Norway. There's like the Viking church that you can walk through, which honestly, I think it was about 2 months ago that I've officially found out that you can actually walk through it. So I was able to go through there and it was really neat to see that. So definitely check that out. And yes, yeah, thank you, Deuce. And okay, and then yeah, so we'll get into the seventh thing here when talking about some of the exhibits that are in the different pavilions at the World Showcase. And the one that I absolutely love going to is the Shanghai Disney exhibit that is in the China Pavilion. So the thing that I really like about this exhibit is that it highlights a lot of things about the Shanghai Disney Resort. And the thing is, you may know that there are multiple Disney parks all around the world. There's one in France, in Paris. We've got one in California, but there is a Shanghai Disney Resort that you can go and check out an exhibit of it in the China Pavilion. And I absolutely love going here because I love seeing how the different parks are similar and how they are different. The thing that I really like about this one is it shows a lot of the rides that you can find at the park, the different lands that are there. It shows some of the different cast member costumes that they wear. So there is a little mini exhibit about the castle that they have, about the Tron ride that they have that we are hopefully going to be getting soon. So I really enjoy doing that and walking through there and seeing kind of how the parks are similar and different. And every time that I walk in there, I really want to plan a trip to actually go for myself to Shanghai Disney. So we'll see if that happens eventually. But it's a really neat exhibit to go and check out. If you are walking around the World Showcase and looking at the China Pavilion, you can just walk right into it. It's a very quick little thing you can walk through that I really like to see. It kind of gives you a different look on one of the other parks that you can find around the world here. So let's see. Do you think Test Track needs to be done at Rope Drop? And I agree with Deuce. I would not recommend Test Track as a rope drop ride because if you are comfortable with the single riders line, you can do that and skip out on the long wait time. But even if you aren't, it has a pretty interesting queue and it does get a long wait time in the middle of the day, but nothing compared to what Frozen is and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at times. So I would definitely recommend doing Frozen or Remy's as one of the rope drop rides and then hopping over and doing Test Track because it does get a long line, but not generally as long as the other two. So definitely would recommend not necessarily rope dropping that one. And you also have, extended evening hours. So yeah, you could definitely do Test Track Den. That is another thing. If you're looking to do some of the more popular rides, of course, Rope Drop is a great time for them. But also, if you aren't wanting to watch the evening fireworks show, which we'll get into here in a little bit, you can definitely do rides during then because wait times are typically lower because a lot of people are watching the evening fireworks show. But yeah, if you have the extended evening hours, that would be a good game plan to do Frozen or Remy's at the beginning of the day, and then checking out Test Track in the middle or at the end of the day is a good thing to do. So, and yeah, that's a good thing to mention too. It does shut down a lot, especially if you are thinking about weather too. If it's looking like it's going to rain during your day, maybe that would be a good ride to do at the beginning of the day, so that way you know you can do it, because it does go outside at some points. So it could shut down due to weather. So that's another thing to think about. Sometimes it does shut down and it can be temporarily closed. So that's another thing to consider about that ride, which is good to point out and good to note for sure. So we've talked about World Showcase, different entertainment and things, but if you're looking for something free to do at Disney World, you can visit Club Cool, which is the 8th thing that I recommend here. This is a fun Coca-Cola themed lounge that they have at sort of the entrance of the park. It's near Test Track if you're around there. But the thing that I really like about Club Cool is that you can go in and you can test out different sodas from around the world. So if you have visited Disney World before, or you know some things about the Disney parks, you may have heard of this really well-known soda called Beverly that is from Italy. And a lot of people go and try it. It does not have the best taste, but if you feel brave enough to go and try it, definitely that is a fun thing to do whenever you are at Epcot, to go and kind of test different sodas from around the world. I've had Beverly before. It was just a couple months ago that I first had it for the first time, because I didn't actually know that Club Cool was a free thing that you could do. So it took me a while to figure that out. But essentially, Beverly is kind of like a very flat, very not great tasting Sprite to me. That's kind of what it tastes like to me. But yeah, I definitely recommend whenever you're there, give it a try. Definitely take a little sip at first. Some people do like it. Some people don't. It just depends, I guess, on the person. But there are a lot of other kind of fun tasting sodas that are on the soda fountain that you can take a little taste test with. Yeah, and I know a lot of people do not like the Beverly drink, so it's kind of an interesting thing that you can definitely try whenever you are at Epcot. It's an experience for me. I had to try it to say that I did it. Maybe you want to try it to say that you have done it, but definitely take a little sip for sure. So yeah, definitely Beverly is a palate cleanser. Yeah, okay, good way to think of it for sure. And Deuce, okay, you love Beverly. So I think you are one of like 3 people that I know now that actually really enjoy Beverly. So yeah, definitely go and try it. And let me know what you think if you guys do decide to try it, because I'm curious if there are more people that I'll know now that like it than don't like it. So, and the worst is that ginger flavor one. Okay, that's one I'll have to try next time. So I definitely popped in and I just tried Beverly the one time that I was there. And I think I really didn't like it. So I decided just to leave after that. But I'll have to do more of a taste testing next time that I visit Club Cool for sure. Not all Deuce love Beverly. Okay, so I'm guessing that it's Brandon here that is enjoying Beverly. So yeah, Tia, you and I think are on the same wavelength here. I am not a huge fan of Beverly. So, but all that to say, visit Club Cool. It's a nice little free thing that you can do when at the parks. You can pop in really quick, do a taste testing, and then keep going about your day. But it's just a little fun thing to do whenever you are at the park. So yeah, there's a bunch of different type sodas there. So I don't know that they change them out. I think they're all the same all the time. But definitely go and you can do a free little tasting, and that kind of makes you feel like you are traveling, kind of like the vibe of Epcot where you're traveling around the world. So it's kind of a neat little thing to do. So we'll get into the 9th thing to do, and that is to visit the Creation Shop and the Connections Cafe and Eatery. So right by Club Cool is the new Connections Cafe and Eatery, and the Creations Shop, which is where you can do some shopping. The Connections Cafe and Eatery is where you can, of course, eat, and then they have a Starbucks there. But I love these 2 new areas. Of course, you guys know I love Loungeflies. I love going and doing merch updates and seeing what kind of new merchandise options and things that they have available at the parks. That is a really great place to go and do some shopping at Disney World. Usually they have all of the merch and offerings that they sell at Disney World there. That's a good place to go and look for a lot of items. They have some of the festival offerings. Of course, you can find stuff other places around the World Showcase or in Epcot in general, but definitely recommend visiting the Creation Shop. And they have a lot of Loungeflies there, and they have a lot of Disney Spirit jerseys and, you know, different collectibles like mugs and things like that. And then heading on over to the directly across from Creation Shop is the Connections Cafe and Eatery. Like I said, you can go and you can get your Starbucks there, or you can do a little sit down meal. That's kind of like one of the quick service restaurants that they have. It's one of the newest ones there. I love the atmosphere of this eatery. It's very new, and it has a lot of places that you can charge your phone if you are looking for a place to do that. It's great to just sit down and take a breather with your family. It has great air conditioning. So I definitely recommend checking those out for sure. And let me look through here really quick. But yes, the thing that I like about the Connections Cafe is it has its soda fountains from in front of the counter. So yes, you can go and you can get free refills. But another thing that I really like to do is when it comes to drinking water at the parks, I always have a water bottle with me. That's what I usually recommend to you guys, is bringing your own water bottle, so that way you don't have to continually pay for water. But I like actually going to the Connections Cafe and filling up my bottle with nice cold water, and sometimes putting some ice in it. So this is a great place to go if you're looking for nice cold water around the parks, and some free refills for sure. And then also I found out that the eatery, I think it's the Four Seasons, that is, maybe it's not called that, but it's in the Land Pavilion by the Soarin' ride. They also have their soda fountains in front of the counter, so you can do some free refills there or get some free water there as well. Sad it replaced the electric umbrella. So I had not been to Epcot since before all of the renovations have happened. So I'm not familiar with what that was. I'll have to, every time people bring up things about old Disney or, you know, things that have been replaced, I definitely go and I check out what they look like, because I am not personally familiar with it. So this is something that I'm going to have to go and check out now after the stream here. So I'm sad for you that you are sad that they replaced it with that, but it is a really neat new location that they have at Epcot. And yes, water can be very expensive at Disney, especially if you are buying it multiple times throughout the day. I think usually they're about $4 a bottle. Sometimes they're more or less than that. So definitely recommend using the water fountains and the soda fountains whenever you're at the park there. But the food is better than the electric. Okay, well, I'm glad that at least it got an upgrade. So that is a good thing to think about and to consider, and at least have a little peace of mind knowing that it got better. So that is good to know. But I'll have to do some research on that after the stream here and see what I was missing out on that I'm not familiar with. So we finally got to the 10th thing here. Thank you guys so much for being so active in the comments here tonight. I really have enjoyed interacting with you guys. And of course, if you have any questions or anything, we can talk about them after the stream. But the 10th thing that I have to tell you guys about here that you should do is definitely watch Harmonious at the end of the evening whenever you are finishing your day at Epcot. So I'm not particularly sure with what time this happens, but this is the evening fireworks show that happens at Epcot. It is new since the 50th anniversary has happened, but I really enjoy Harmonious. I was able to see it earlier this summer, and there are really two places that you'll want to go and get a really good view of it. If you go right directly in front of the big circle thing that you'll see from all of the equipment from Harmonious, that is a really great place to go and get a view anywhere in front and directly behind that. So around the USA Pavilion, and then also like right as you're walking into the World Showcase in between Mexico and Canada are two really good places to go and watch Harmonious. So I definitely recommend checking that out at the end of the night. But if you aren't interested in doing that, of course, going and checking out some very popular rides is a good thing to do, because usually wait times are down during those times. So yeah, I know some people are not particularly thrilled with Harmonious. I don't think that I had seen the fireworks show or the evening show that happened before Harmonious, so I can't really say whether I like it more or less than what used to be there, but I know some people aren't necessarily fans of it. But let's see here. So I usually bring 24 pack of water and put a bunch in your backpack. That's a good thing to do too. Definitely staying stocked up on water. I know if I were to go to visit the Disney parks and stay at a hotel or a resort, I would definitely do grocery delivery and have like cases of water delivered just so I could have a bunch throughout my visit. So yeah, that is a really good thing to think about. And I'm glad that you do that whenever you are visiting Disney World and the parks. So those are my 10 things that I recommend doing and that you must do when visiting Epcot. Epcot is a really fun park. There's so many things that you can do there. And I think I said this earlier in the stream, but it's slowly becoming one of my favorite parks to visit because of the new attractions that it has. It has Remy's and the Cosmic Rewind ride, but it also is very neat. It really makes you feel like you're able to travel all around the world in one place. So definitely recommend checking out Epcot, doing these things whenever you are there. I know there are some people here in the chat that are visiting Epcot soon. I hope you have a great visit whenever you go. Let me know what you think of it. And thank you guys so much again for watching. We're going to be having a new series come up here with the live streams that we're doing because we ended this must-do series. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. And let's see. How late are the land shops open after the fireworks? Immediately or I would think that, Tammy, I would think that they're usually open about an hour afterwards. I know at least with Magic Kingdom, I think it's usually, and if anybody knows in the comments too here, definitely let me know. But I think they're usually about an hour afterwards. They usually have it budgeted, I think, like an hour or 2 hours afterwards. So you can definitely do some shopping after the fireworks or after the park is even closed. But if anybody else has any info on that, definitely let me know. But I think that they're usually open about a half hour or an hour afterwards. So you can definitely do some shopping at the end of the day. So yeah, thank you, Dukes. Thank you everyone for being here. Hope you enjoyed this info. Usually we do live streams on the channel here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll definitely have the stream tried to have it scheduled ahead of time so that way you guys know whenever it is coming. And oh, okay. So it closes at park close. Okay, so sorry, Tammy. There's your info for sure. So that is good to know. And at the Epcot Land Pavilion. So I think so they close at park close. That is good to know. And then that's what I'm thinking. Okay, other merch shops tend to stay open longer. So that's good info to know if you were planning on doing shopping at Epcot. So thank you, Doofs, for coming in and sharing that info because I definitely had wrong info on that. So, well, enjoy your time at Magic Kingdom. Thank you so much for being in this stream here tonight. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you're here on the replay, thank you so much as well. And we will see you guys in the next video. So see you guys. Thanks for watching.